Hello and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Virgil and here I am having a rate. Currently sitting on the Savoy Hotel in London, waiting for a job. Oh, I'd love to get a Heathrow or a Gatwick. Who knows? So, on the morning of the Carabao Cup fixture tonight, West Ham United versus Bournemouth, the Cherries. Should be a good game, really. It's interesting to see what Lopetegui's going to do. I'd imagine we're going to see some changes, obviously, with one eye on the Manchester City game. But I'd like to take the competition seriously, and I'm sure Lopetegui will take it fairly seriously, even in these early stages. I'd like to see a few players rested. I'd like to see some of the new ones come in. I'd like to see Wan-Bissaka get a start, Fore get a start, maybe take Soucek, Paqueta out the team. I think you're going to see people like Cresswell in the team. I'd like to see some of the youngsters as well. It's going to be interesting. And for a tenner and a pound for a boy, can't really say no, can you? Really? I mean, we missed the opening game against Villa because we was in Turkey. So, be good to get over there. First time this season for me and my son, as I say. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of newbies over there with the old kids for a quid scenario. It's great, kids for a quid. You can't argue with that. I think it's fantastic. So, I want to see changes. I want to see some of the new boys get debuts from the start. To Debo, be interesting to see him. I don't think we're going to be full strength, but at the end of the day, with the players we've got on the bench now, you could argue that we've got, full strength across the board. Obviously, we know we're still maybe light in a few positions. And hopefully before Friday, I'd like to see us get another striker in. I mean, Nick's all set up on Duran, but I can't see that happening, if I'm honest. Nick's very hopeful, but I can't see that. But I suppose it's going to depend on a lot of if we get anyone out the door. Danny Ings, James Ward-Prowse, Cornet. Are there going to be any takers for them? I'm not so sure. Their wages are very high. Why would Danny Ings take a pay cut? So I think the only opportunity you're going to get rid of some of these bodies is probably send them out on loan, where West Ham as a club cover some of their wages and the club that take them on loan pay the remaining amount of wages. So, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to getting over there tonight and hopeful of a win, obviously. And let's go for it. Let's have a nice cup run. No European competition this season for us, which I've always said I think is a blessing personally, because predominantly then you're going to have one game a week, and that'll give Lopetegui far more opportunity to get his message across on the training field. So for me, it's a blessing in disguise, especially with the wholesale changes that he's had to do with the squad. The massive rebuild that we know he's had to do with the squad. Obviously, we as a channel have been getting quite a lot of stick in regards to our opinions on Thomas Soucek. But I think what I want to get across today is that, even if this was Paqueta, we'll call out Paqueta if he's having a bad time of it. And I think Paqueta at the minute is having a bad time of it. So, I'll score him accordingly. And the same can be said for Soucek. But the difference is that Soucek's performances are having a far more of an impact on the squad and other players. Soucek's inclusion in the team is having a far greater impact because players are having to play out of position to accommodate him. So we're not a channel just slagging a player off for the sake of slagging a player off. We're not a channel who I've seen someone said the other day on West Ham Fan TV that Thomas Soucek's being used as a scapegoat. I disagree. Thomas Soucek is being scored and spoke about accordingly. If his job is to just do nothing apart from score a goal, is he West Ham's version of Haaland? Because Haaland, at times doesn't touch the ball, but he pops up and scores. Now, if that's what Thomas Soucek is being used as, if that's the idea behind Thomas Soucek, which I doubt, by the way, I don't think Lopetegui's thinking in any way, shape or form that Soucek is our answer to, Haaland. Imagine that, the Czech Haaland. But, you know, a central midfielder needs to do far more than he's doing. And I think that it's not slagging him off, because if he had more to offer, you know, I'd applaud his inclusion. And those will argue, yeah, but he scores the goals and, you know, blah, 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 won a penalty and all that. I get it. But a midfielder, central midfielder, needs to be doing far, far more. Yeah? So it's not a channel that are slagging a player off for the sake of slagging the player off. You know, I love Antonio. I'll give him a 5 out of 10 the other day. Probably should have given him a 4, if I'm honest. Right? So I'm not wholly against Thomas Soucek, but, you know, I think we need to look beyond him, yeah, to get the best out of the team, to get the best out of the players that we've got available, that we've brought in, that Tim has worked so hard and tirelessly to get. So it's not Thomas Soucek bashing. It's just a reality check. It's realistic opinions from, you know, I like to think I know my football. And I'm sure we watch enough games, West Ham and other teams, to know what we need, yeah? So it's not a Thomas Soucek bashing channel at all. We just give honest opinions. And that's what we want to do. We're not an echo chamber. If anything, I couldn't think of anything worse than just agreeing with Nick. You probably see that I like disagreeing with Nick. Yeah. So, well, I'm still on the Savoy, 6 minutes into this video. Bloody dormant, probably taking a bung from someone. Bit quiet in a minute. In the summer holidays can be a bit hit and miss, but there you go. So, yeah, very much looking forward to getting over to the London Stadium tonight. I think that we're going to win the game. I can see us winning 2-0. I'll be surprised if Bournemouth go strong. I think they'll make some changes as well. Obviously, we will make some changes, but our changes are strong. You know, when you look at our bench, I think our bench is fantastic. I'd like to see some of the youngsters give it a go. Maybe, I don't know, but I mean, some of them have gone out on loan, but is there any about to bring in? Maybe not. But our squad's good now. Our squad's fairly deep, you know. Apart from certain positions, our squad's fairly deep. So I'm looking forward to the game. Looking forward to getting over there. I'm looking forward to getting off this rank at any time soon. So, yeah, you know, 3 days left of the window, transfer window. Will Tim get any more in? You know, the midfielders due to come in from PSG, Soler, whatever you want to call him, which surprises me, because I think personally we should be going for another striker. Maybe Tim's got something on the horizon. The Ivan Toney thing, I never thought was a runner anyway, to be honest with you, but it looks like he's now going to either go to Saudi, where he's agreed personal terms, or possibly Chelsea. So who we got left, I don't know. Maybe there's a surprise. Maybe there's a surprise on the horizon. But I tell you what, it's been a good window so far. If we don't get anyone else in, then so be it. I'd love a striker, obviously. I'm happy with what we got. Wan-Bissaka is a step up from Soufal. Alvarez coming back after his late arrival back into the squad. You know, Todibo, let him start tonight. Probably see Cresswell win. You know, I don't hate Cresswell. Yes, you know, he's probably had his time, potentially. Signed another year contract, but maybe Lopetegui will want to see him. But I see Fulkrug from the start against Bournemouth. Very much so. But, you know, it's interesting because we've had a fantastic window and there's still a lot of whinging about. I think we're going to do well this year. I think we're going to look for top 8, right? But, you know, if we get a striker in, if we get a proper striker in, I'm not slagging off Fulkrug, but, you know, if Ings is surplus to requirements and Antonio continues to perform as he's performed so far, you know, he looks shot to pieces, doesn't he? Then we're going to need another striker in. So let's hope that we get a striker in by the end of the window. Who knows? Even if it's just on loan, I don't know. And if we need to get people out, let's get them out. But very much looking forward to the game tonight. I'm going to go for West Ham 2, Bournemouth 0. Come on, you Irons.
They're great memories for me because win or lose, we would give everything for that team. Everything, you know. And even the away fans, they would look at us, you know, we could be winning. And they could never understand how we would just sing, and it would just, I couldn't get enough of it. It was like a drug, you know, and didn't matter if we lost. Go home. I never drunk. I never used to have a drink for obvious reasons, you know, and then things developed, you know, from there where you got in with some different people and some naughty people. And You know, I remember being up at Coventry and we were 2-2 up in the League Cup semi-final. And Stuart's having a punch up with someone, and we lost 3-2. And me and this bloke had a little altercation, and we both got arrested. And then when we come down for the second leg, I went in the South Bank, the away end, and this bloke recognised me. I didn't recognise him, and he knocked me out one punch. So I didn't get to see any of the game and got arrested for it. But I remember being in the nick at East Ham, and the police used to kick on the door. You could be 20, 30 of you in the cell, and the police would put all the away fans in a different cell. But if we scored, the police would knock on the door going, "We've fucking scored, you northern wankers," and like wound it up. We'd all start singing Bubbles in the cell. And I had a great time.
I've said some fucking strange geezer walking in my fucking back garden. Do you hear me? I just battered the cunt. Cunt. Fucking adrenaline's going. I broke his fucking side gate. I smashed his head into it.
You can't edit this out, James. You cannot edit it out.
I've got to stay in because you
can't know. You know what I mean?
man.
Fucking.
But no, the places you went, and I tell you,
Core, nothing's ever easy, is it? Jay recorded the first episode of our Upton Park Tales series, which is just featuring, normal West Ham fans telling their stories and their tales of Upton Park. And this one's with Stuart and Dougie. And Stuart has an altercation with a wannabe burglar or somebody who broke into his garden. If you want to watch the full video, this series will be found on our Claret and Booze Extra Time channel. So the link will be in the description. But if you just type it into the search bar on YouTube, Claret and Booze Extra Time. Bit of a mouthful, but great channel, some great content coming out in there, very different. So yeah, if that's your sort of thing, go over and give it a look. And don't forget to subscribe.